Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kristen Routh Ureke, Doctor of Clinical Psychology, licensed marriage and family therapist, and certified mental health integrative medicine provider. I've been working in the psychology and therapy fields for nearly 20 years now in a variety of positions, including specializing in the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder in U.S. active duty military service members. I currently am adjunct faculty at a major university, and I conduct research on mental and physical resilience in relation to trauma and mental health. I am honored to speak with you today as part of the Red Lip Resilience Summit. In my professional roles, I feel it's my duty to help support survivors and their loved ones who have been impacted by trauma and help educate others about ways to reduce the chances of sexual assault occurring. I have worked with hundreds of survivors and family members of survivors in my therapy practice. Many of the survivors have been teens and young adults, and the family members have been parents who have needed guidance on how to talk about sexual violence or boundary violations, or how to move forward after assault. A common need that repeatedly comes up in my therapy sessions is helping create an environment where teens and young adults feel like they can express themselves openly and honestly regarding relationships and sex and emotions without fear of judgment from others, especially from their parents. I often educate parents about how to encourage communication around these topics with their teens and adult children with the goal to help establish healthy relationships, understand consent, and ultimately empower people in their own personal safety. And these conversations are not typically easy or comfortable for parents to initiate, but they are so important to have. One of the more effective ways of having healthy dialogue around relationships is to model what respecting others' boundaries looks like in everyday interactions. While actively listening and leading with empathy and respect, it's an opportunity for people to show respect and show boundaries as opposed to just talk about them. Again, it's one thing to tell a teen or young adult what healthy boundaries and relationships look like, and it's a whole other level to demonstrate and practice what healthy boundaries really are. Therapy and counseling can be a very helpful resource for families who want to have these healthy conversations and model good relationships, but don't quite know how to start. The therapist can help by guiding specific dialogue or give practice scenarios to parents and kids to try using boundary setting or practice consent communication or even practice what to do if boundaries are violated. Something I really wish more supporters, survivors, and just people in general would embrace is that therapy does not have to be reactive intervention. Meaning, seeking out therapy or mental health counseling does not have to occur only because something bad happened. Therapy can be very preventative and educational in that it can provide a structured and safe place for hard conversations to occur under the guidance of a professional who specializes in trauma. Therapy, especially psychoeducational or short term therapy, can be an extremely valuable resource to help young people understand their boundaries and the boundaries of others, and equip people with tools to communicate openly about consent, ensuring that they understand the necessity of consent and mutual agreement in any relationship. Additionally, something I recommend for families to try outside of therapy sessions to help with the dialogue around healthy and unhealthy relationships is to watch movies and television shows together and talk about what they notice about the featured relationships. Character dynamics in movies and TV shows can be great examples of dysfunctional and functional relationships. And it can be really beneficial for families to talk about what they might do differently or similarly than the characters if they were in the character's position. Ultimately, regular and frequent conversations, whether inspired by watching shows or initiated in therapy sessions or just checking in around the dinner table, helps teens and young adults know their parents are accessible and invested in protecting their well being and promoting healthy relationships. Now, I've been asked what changes I think would make the biggest impact in preventing sexual assault. Well, within the big goal of fostering a huge culture shift rooted in genuine respect and care for others, I think early education on healthy relationships, as well as bystander intervention training, can help to shift societal norms to a more active approach to preventing sexual assault. Bystander intervention training is educating people to safely recognize and intervene when they witness risky situations, which has been shown to reduce both perpetration and victimization rates. Training can teach people to recognize potentially harmful situations, including harassment and sexual misconduct, and safely intervene to prevent escalation and harm. People are empowered to move from being passive bystanders to active upstanders, using techniques categorized as the 4 Ds: direct, delegate, distract, delay. This type of training prioritizes the safety of all involved, emphasizing nonviolent methods of intervention. Direct intervention means speaking up directly to stop the incident from occurring. Delegate intervention means finding others, such as security, police, or other people nearby to help in a circumstance. Distraction intervention means creating a diversion to interrupt the situation. And delay intervention means to follow up with the person who might have been a target of violence by offering support and encouraging them to connect with additional resources. The primary purpose of bystander intervention is preventing sexual violence through empowerment. By fostering a proactive culture where harmful behavior is immediately interrupted, there is potential that sexual assault and other violence can be greatly reduced. I want to thank you for your time today and joining me at the Red Lip Resilience Summit. My hope for the future is that you and society are not only aware of the need for sexual violence prevention and education, but are proactively invested in creating a safe community for all. When we move beyond talking about issues and put into action true prevention measures, we are taking care of one another's well being and creating lasting change. Thank you for joining me. Be well.